Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Poe, and today I am starting off the second week of my vlog for Lovember, which is a romance readathon run by Becca at ReadBecca. I'll link her channel and all of the information about the readathon below. And it has been a couple of days since I ended my previous vlog, so I wanted to check in with you at the start of this one with where I am on my reading. So I have read a bit more in Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. I am still absolutely loving this book. I'm at 65% now, and there's just so much here about the characters working through their personal issues and how tied up that is in the way that they allow themselves to find joy and find peace. And that's really something they're working through together, as well as really individually. I love that balance of personal growth as well as relationship growth. It's just beautiful, and just them being on the trail and everything that involves, I really like. And it's got so many quiet moments in it. It's just such a joy to read. So I'm really excited to continue with this one. I also started the holiday read, which was Christmas at Rosebend by Naima Simone, and I got about 10% into this one before realizing that it's not quite working out for me. It does have all of the Christmas vibes though. So this is set in a small town that is all about Christmas, and in particular at an inn that goes all out, has wreaths and decorations and everything. And we follow a heroine who is pretty just unhappy in life. She's pretty upset. She's lost her mother not too long ago, and also her father also not too long ago, although he had divorced her mom and left her quite a bit before that. And he had another daughter, her half-sister, who he left in her care as guardianship, even though she barely knows this preteen girl. And they're having a very strained relationship, and they've come to Rosebend because it was kind of one of those final things that their dad wanted them to do. And the story is definitely going to be about kind of Christmas miracles of family coming together, that sort of thing. But the beginning of it is very focused on this really difficult relationship between the two sisters. There's a lot of bitterness and resentment. There's a lot of unresolved issues, things that really should be worked through in therapy. So that was quite hard for me. I don't love that high level of kind of difficulty and angst in relationships. And also the writing style wasn't quite working for me, just a little bit over descriptive, too many analogies, that sort of thing that kept bringing me out of the writing. So I decided that this wasn't quite the vibe I was going for, and I let this one go. I did, however, have a backup book for the holiday prompt for Lovember, which is Under the Mistletoe by Leonore Solis, which is a brand new release that is also about like a small town Christmas, and it actually features two grumps. So the hero and heroine both in this aren't really into Christmas, but they're both involved kind of reluctantly in a Christmas committee that is going to be handling all of the Christmas celebrations in this small town. The hero is somebody who works for the town, and so he's been tasked with this. And the heroine is somebody who has been away from this small town for a long time, but has come back because her sister was in a car accident, and she's come back to kind of take care of her sister, but also handle taking over her sister's role on the Christmas committee. And so both of them are grumpy. Both of them are like, I don't want to do this. But also they both feel very motivated to accomplish it because, he really wants to make sure that the town succeeds and has a good Christmas. And she really wants to support her sister. And so it's just really cute. I always love grumpy characters, but then to have two grumps, I kind of like that. So this one is really cute. I'm about 25% into it so far. It's a novella, and I'm very excited to continue this one. So right now I'm going to go ahead and end this clip, but there will be lots of fun stuff coming up because we're just about to leave and go to Vancouver for a kind of holiday trip / just celebration trip for us. So I'm really excited. We have a lot of food that we plan to eat, a lot of restaurants we want to go to, some walking around tours that we're going to do. And other than that, just a lot of reading. So I will share clips with you and check in with you again in a day or two and let you know where my reading is and what we've been up to. So it has been about a day and a half, and I wanted to check in with you guys. We've been having such a fun time in Vancouver so far. We've gone to some really amazing restaurants. We went to the Acorn the first night, which has just all of this kind of really vegetable focused meals, very fancy and very nice. And then yesterday we went to Chinatown and we did a walking tour. The Chinese garden there is so gorgeous. We loved walking around that. There were some museums. It was just such an interesting place to wander around and learn about the history. Some of the history in Vancouver really parallels a lot of what's happened across the Pacific coast for Chinese immigrants. And so it was just very interesting to see those parallels. And then we also went to a really fantastic restaurant last night called Burdock & Co., which had just this whole menu planned around radicchio, and it was so cool. We love radicchio. So yeah, we've been having a really great time, and I've made progress in both of the books that I was reading. So in Under the Mistletoe, or Mistletoe, by Leonor Solis, this was just like this perfect holiday novella that was so cozy and so sweet, but focusing on two grumpy characters. And I really loved that this novella didn't reform them. They stayed grumpy throughout the whole thing. They never warmed up to Christmas. And I loved it because they just kind of got each other and they supported each other. And there was such great communication between them. And really them coming together was about them seeing, does this fit in with my life plans and can I make this work? And I loved that. It was just this really adult conversation and movement, but also with all of these holiday things going around where they're not into it. And it was just such a fun read. I loved this. So if you're looking for a holiday novella, or if you're somebody who's not like a super into holidays, but you want to give it a try without being like overwhelmed by, as they refer to it in the book, toxic positivity, give this one a try. So sweet. And I did make progress as well on Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. So I'm at 85% in this now, and it's just continuing with this really kind of introspective and quiet but very emotional relationship. I really like how both of the characters are doing so much to grow as people. They're really working through things, and how that kind of ties together with how they are together as a couple, and what they're trying to work on, and how that relates also to their journey on the Pacific Crest Trail. So it's just fantastic, and it's kind of gone in a direction which isn't what I expected, but I'm really liking it. So yeah, I'm very excited to continue with this one. And I've got two other books that were on my TBR, one which was a proper prompt, and then the other which was a bonus prompt. So I will see if I can get to those while we're still on this vacation. But for now, we are about to head out to Granville Island Market, which is supposed to be like a really neat, artsy, foodie type of market. So we're going to go do that, and I will check in with you again in another day or two to update you on where I am in the books and tell you more about what we've been up to in Vancouver. Okay, I wanted to check in with you guys again. We had a lovely day yesterday. We went to Granville Island Market and just walked around and saw all of the stalls and got a couple of things like some chocolate. It was really neat seeing all of the artisan products. And in the evening, we also went to the Van Dusen Festival of Lights, which is this big garden. And they had a ton of Christmas lights up. It was really cool. They had music playing, they had food, they had just all of these different sections with different colored lights. It was really fantastic. A little cold, but really beautiful. And then today is our last day in Vancouver, and we're going to be going this morning to Stanley Park, which is this huge park kind of thing, Central Park type of idea. And we're going to do a walking tour learning about the ancient trees there. So that sounds really fascinating. But I wanted to also check in with you guys about the reading that I've been doing. So I did finish Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly, and it was so good. I loved the ending. I loved the way that each of the characters worked so hard on their personal growth and found a way to be together. And it was just such a lovely story. I really liked also the family dynamics in this, and the way that they had to kind of resolve some of their issues. It was just a lovely story and so quiet and so earnest. I thought it was so fantastic. I also have started on the last two books that are on my TBR. So Return to Love by Leonore Solis, which is a road trip romance, and it's a novelette, so it's quite short. I'm already 25% into it, and it is just very cute. It's about two old friends, one of whom has been doing a road trip in like a camper van for the past couple of years, and they've been, connecting a lot via text. But the hero has joined the heroine for the last week of her journey, and they're going to see if maybe something else comes of it. So it's a friends to lovers romance. It's got really cute dynamics so far, and you can feel how they both want something more, but they're not exactly sure how to navigate that transition from friendship to something more. I also started His Perfect Partner by Priscilla Oliveras, and this is apparently her debut novel. I think that the writing in her more recent works has gotten even stronger. This one, I still am very immersed in it, but sometimes I notice the writing. It's just teensy bit overwritten at times, and the instant obsession of the two characters is a little strong. But it's got a really interesting premise of this dance teacher who, is kind of staying with her dad to help out after he's had cancer, but wants to go back to Broadway. And a guy who's kind of a workaholic dad, but his daughter is taking dance lessons with the dance teacher, and he finds himself drawn to her, but he's also trying to balance work and his daughter and everything like that. And so they're pretty interesting characters. It's a good setup, and I'm only about 10% into this one, so I will see. I may not finish this one by the end of the vlog, but the end of the readathon, but I will give it a shot. So I will check in with you one last time after we get home tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning. And yeah, so just enjoy some clips of the park. Okay, so we are back home now, and I wanted to do a final check-in with you guys. Yesterday was so much fun with our last day in Vancouver. We did this wonderful walking tour about the ancient trees of Stanley Park and learned so much about the ecology there, as well as just saw such beautiful forest, and the ocean there is also gorgeous. So we had such a fun time with that. We were a little bit exhausted though, because it was about 5 hours of walking, the time to get walking into the park as well as the tour itself and walking out of the park, but it was so lovely. And then we had a drive home, which ended up taking quite a few extra hours just because it was slow at the border. So I didn't end up doing any more reading yesterday, just enjoyed the walking, enjoyed the car ride, and now I wanted to do a final wrap up for Lovember. So I didn't quite finish everything, but I started everything, which makes me really happy. I always like to get started on books. And I ended up reading for 3 of the prompts out of the 4 plus a bonus for Lovember. So for the favorite quote or lyric on love, I finished Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly, which was just so sweet and so gentle and quiet, and this beautiful hiking based romance. I absolutely adored that. I also finished the prompt of favorite color on the cover. For that, I read Make a Scene by Mimi Grace, which I finished in the last week's vlog, which was just like such a great rom-com baking romance. And then I also finished kind of a holiday romance, and so for that I read Under the Mistletoe by Leonore Solis, which was just such a sweet novella about 2 grumps who don't like Christmas. I thought that that was just perfect. And I did have a DNF of my original book that was on my TBR, Christmas in Rosebud by Naima Simone, which just didn't quite work for me in terms of the writing style and the dynamic between some of the family members in the story. But I was really glad to try that because it had been on my TBR for a while. And then I did start on 2 of the other prompts. So one was kind of favorite vacation destination. For that I chose road trip, but I ended up too busy with my actual road trip to finish it, but I will soon because it's just a novelette. So for that I had chosen Return to Love by Leonore Solis, which is a friends to lovers road trip romance. I'm super excited to continue with that one. And then for the bonus prompt, which was continuing a favorite series or author's works, I had started His Perfect Partner by Priscilla Oliveras, which is about a dance instructor and the father of one of her students. And I really want to continue that as well because I'd love to get to Priscilla Oliveras' backlog and check out all of the works that she's published beforehand, as well as continue reading the new things that she publishes. So I had such an amazing time, both just sharing life with you guys through the vlog, as well as reading all of these romances. So thank you to Becca for hosting this readathon. I had an amazing time. And if you guys have read any of these romances, if you're interested in them, if you read romances during Lovember, I'd love to hear what you read. Or if you've gone on any fun trips yourself, or if you love road trips, I just love to hear from you. So go ahead and comment down below.